Someone just minted $1 billion worth of DOT out of thin air. Not stolen, not bought, minted. And somehow, they still barely made anything from it. On paper, this may be one of the strangest crypto exploits we've seen in a while. It looked like a $1 billion hack, but in reality, the attacker may only have been able to extract around 237 grand. And the reason why says a lot about how fragile bridges, wrapped assets, and crypto infrastructure still are. This exploit appears to involve Hyperbridge, a fully decentralized and permissionless protocol allowing anyone to transmit cross-chain messages and earn fees, was integral to the attacker's exploit. According to CoinDesk, the attacker exploited a vulnerability in Hyperbridge's Ethereum gateway contract to mint 1 billion bridged Polkadot tokens and dump them for about 237,000 in Ether. A key point here is that the attacker was able to mint around $1 billion worth of bridged DOT tokens without depositing the real collateral underneath. That is obviously catastrophic because bridged assets are supposed to be backed one for one. If the backing disappears, the whole thing becomes fake. In simple terms, the attacker appears to have minted a huge amount of fake bridged DOT and then immediately started swapping into ETH. This sounds like a $1 billion exploit. But there was one major problem. Just because you can print fake money does not mean that you can cash it out. Because you still need real buyers, you still need real liquidity, and you still need an exit route for the funds. So while the exploit size was theoretically enormous, the actual realized value appears to have been much smaller. So how did they actually do it? This is where it starts to get a bit more technical. According to multiple reports, the attacker may have used forged cross-chain messages to gain admin control over the bridged DOT contract. CoinMarketCap reports cybersecurity platform Certic confirmed the attack using blockchain data, saying the hacker inserted a forged message to seize admin control of the Polkadot token contract on Ethereum. The attacker then minted the tokens, though limited liquidity in the bridged DOT pool capped the haul at 108.2 Ethereum. BlockSec also believes the root cause may have been an MMR-proof replay vulnerability. As described in the BitGet article here, according to monitoring by BlockSec, the Hyperbridge handler V1 contract on Ethereum suffered an MMR-proof replay attack. That basically means previously valid proofs may have been reused with new forged requests. So instead of breaking the bridge completely, the attacker may simply have found a way to trick it into approving something it should never have approved. A technical summary is provided here by the account BitsLabs, suggesting the following chain of events. 1. The attacker forged and submitted a post request that was accepted by the target message handling chain. It then triggered the change asset admin path in the token gateway teleport, switched the bridge DOT admin to an attacker control contract, minted 1 billion DOT, sold all 1 billion DOT via an aggregation router that we believe to be Hyperbridge, and cashed out 108.2 ETH. So why couldn't they cash out everything? And this is the really important part, because people hear $1 billion minted and they instantly assume the attacker made $1 billion. They did not, because liquidity matters. Even if you suddenly have an enormous amount of fake bridge DOT, or any asset for that matter, you still need actual buyers on the other side. You need real ETH, you need real liquidity pools, you need actual exit routes. And the second you start dumping fake assets into shallow liquidity, as you can see here, the price collapses. It's like trying to cash out $1 billion of monopoly money in a real world shop. There's simply not enough value on the other side. To me, this is worse than it looks, because every time something like this happens, it's a reminder that some of the biggest risks in crypto are not always the flashy DeFi protocols. Sometimes it's the infrastructure itself, bridges, wrapped assets, cross-chain messaging in this case, synthetic minting systems, because all of these systems rely on trust assumptions, and if the accounting breaks, everything breaks. We have seen this story over and over again. Ronin, Wormhole, Nomad, Multichain, Drift Protocol, and now this. What makes this even more worrying is that Hyperbridge positioned itself as a more trust minimalized bridge design. So if a system like this can still fail because of one forged message, it's a cause for concern. The key question now is whether this is just one isolated bug, or whether it is beginning to reveal something bigger about how these systems are designed. Because if a bridge can accidentally allow someone to mint unbacked assets, this is not just a small exploit, it is a fundamental accounting failure. And in crypto, once people stop believing that something is fully backed, the value can disappear very quickly. That is why stablecoins, wrapped assets and bridges live or die based on trust. The second people stop trusting and believing the backing is real, the whole thing can unravel. Hyperbridge itself suggested the issue may have come from a flaw in the Merkle proof verification logic, and researchers believe the proof itself may have been valid, but not properly tied to the specific request being executed. That is important because it means the attacker may not have needed to break the proof itself, merely manipulate it and reuse it in a different context. This is another reminder that crypto infrastructure is still much more fragile than people think. Yes, the headline is insane. 1 billion dot minted out of thin air. But the real story is not that somebody made $1 billion. It is that bridges are proving to be still one of the weakest points in the entire industry. And until crypto finds a better way to move value securely across change, we're probably going to keep seeing stories like this over and over again. If you want more founder level breakdowns on crypto hacks, exploits, and where things are really going wrong, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.